This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to the Return of the Clone Wars recap and review. I know it's been like 6 or 7 months, I've just been really busy, but for this we're going to be looking at the Obi-Wan Undercover arc. So, I'm really excited to do this and have money to get back to it for a little bit. I've just been busy for honestly just a long time, or lazy a few times, so I am sorry it took a while to get back to this. But I'll be looking at this episode as always, recapping the events of it, and then giving my review of the episode, and then ultimately ranking it against all the other episodes. So let's go straight into it. After being recalled to Coruscant, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka begin to head towards the Jedi Temple, but are quickly ambushed by an assassin. As they go and try to take him down, the assassin manages to shoot Obi-Wan, sending him tumbling over a ledge to his apparent death. Anakin grieves his master as he is buried at the Jedi Temple. After the funeral, Yoda and Mace Windu go into the medical facility at the Jedi Temple where a still alive Obi-Wan Kenobi waits for them, and they begin to discuss their plan to infiltrate the plan to kidnap Chancellor Palpatine. Obi-Wan is to go undercover as the assassin paid to kill him, Reiko Hardeen, and takes a drug to help change his appearance and puts a device in to be able to mimic his voice. After doing this, Obi-Wan goes with the Jedi to replace Reiko Hardeen, knocking him out and changing into his clothes. Anakin and Ahsoka are given a tip to where Hardeen is and take Hardeen into custody. After being put into prison, Obi-Wan, posing as Hardeen, goes and tries to catch the attention of Moralo Evolve, the man believed to be behind the kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine, who was put into public custody, and Obi-Wan is trying to figure out how Evolve is planning to break out and stay with him to go through with the plot to kidnap Palpatine so he can foil it. Obi-Wan is brought to Evolve's cell where he meets Cad Bane, who has also been arrested to be able to break Evolve out of prison. Cad Bane instantly takes a dislike to Hardeen and wants nothing to do with him, causing complications in Obi-Wan's plan. He then goes to contact the Jedi to inform them of the developments and says that he will be following them to make sure that he is involved with the plan. While at the mess hall, Obi-Wan is attacked by a young Boba Fett who wants payback on Hardeen, and this begins a full-on prison riot, which is what Cad Bane planned, and him and Evolve begin to escape as Obi-Wan follows them. Evolve and Bane are surprised to see Hardeen follow them, and Hardeen says to them that he has a way to get them out. When Cad Bane's codes fail to open a door to the morgue, and Obi-Wan uses the Force to open the panel as he has the other two, keep watch, and they manage to launch down to the crematorium where they fight through the guards and manage to escape. Although Obi-Wan does refuse to kill one of them, saying his blaster jammed, and this makes Bane a little suspicious. The three escaped fugitives hijack a shuttle and head towards the world of Nal Hutta, knowing that they need alternate transport and that a bounty would be placed on them. Obi-Wan forces the shuttle to crash into the swamp, explaining that they have to do this so they don't get taken in by bounty hunters on the planet. Making it to one of the cities, they know they have to get rid of their prison clothes and head to someone that Cad Bane knows where they get gear to continue on. Bane threatens the man he knows if he reveals anything, and Obi-Wan just simply pays him off and tells Bane to keep a low profile. Bane, continuing to dislike Hardeen, tells him that they need to split up as him and Evolve go to get weapons. That Hardeen, since he crashed the ship, has to go and find a new one. Obi-Wan goes and gets a ship, and Bane decides to betray him, shoving Hardeen off to be taken in by the forces on Nal Hutta trying to collect on the bounty. The other criminals try to torture Obi-Wan, who gives them a tracking signal he placed on the ship, knowing that Bane would betray him, and tells them to let him go, trying to sell the fact that he's just trying to sell it to his former allies, and not letting him know that this is actually part of his plan. Taking the tracking information, they don't do anything with Obi-Wan to let him go and just leave him there. This causes an attack on Evolve and Bane, shooting them down and forcing them to crash. Obi-Wan easily manages to escape and contacts the Jedi, telling them that he needs money for a new ship, but also that he needs the bounties on them removed so they could have an easier time in their escape so he could continue with the plan back on Coruscant. Anakin is with Palpatine as Palpatine gets the request from Mace Windu to drop the bounty on the criminals. Mace says that this is for them to be able to more easily track the criminals, and hopefully they'll slip up and reveal more about the plot to kidnap Palpatine. And Palpatine reluctantly agrees, but sees this as a opportunity to push Anakin closer to the dark side and encourages Anakin to go after Hardeen, being the man that killed his master, telling him he trusts him completely. Back in Nal Hutta, Bane is furious to see Hardeen just simply waiting for them, and Hardeen tells them that they shouldn't have betrayed him, and he has a ship for them if they want to join, but they have to let him fully in on the plan. Evolve, becoming furious, just agrees and tells them to join. Anakin and Ahsoka make it to Nal Hutta and begin to interrogate people, trying to figure out where Hardeen is, and quickly learn of the ship and a scam that the seller was making to only give him enough fuel to make it to his brother's fuel station. And Anakin and Ahsoka head to it, where they see that Bane is escaping and go to confront him. A chase begins as the battle breaks out between the bounty hunters and the Jedi, as Obi-Wan, having to keep his cover but not wanting Anakin to be killed, goes and fights his friend. He gives off a good enough performance and simply tells Bane when they are pushing the Jedi back that they have to get out of there before more arrive, and Bane simply agrees as they escape off-world. They eventually make it to Sereno, where Dooku is furious that stuff has taken so long, and Evolve explains everything and that he's ready for the plan now, and puts everyone into a trial called the Box, which is meant to prepare them for the mission. Evolve tells everyone that not all of them will survive it, but those who do will manage to be part of one of the greatest schemes to ever exist. They will all be paid enough to retire, and everyone there is intrigued as Cad Bane kills someone just to get their hat before they proceed to enter into the box. The first challenge involves a room that slowly begins to fill with poison gas, and they are quickly not sure what to do before Obi-Wan thinks to check towards the floor and finds the way out. The rest of the bounty hunters follow him and they continue into the next room for the next challenge. This challenge involves a bunch of lasers that pop out from the wall and leads to the path out. This trial caused the death of a few of the bounty hunters as they continue to climb up after Obi-Wan notices the pattern leading to their escape. The third trial involves a ray shield and a serum that will only work on one of the members of the group, and Obi-Wan quickly realizes that the serum will be effective on the par one and tells him to inject it into himself, that there's a 50-50 chance it will work on him, and it's the only person it will work on, saying that he used to hunt them for sport and scaring him. The Parwan injects it into himself, going through the ray shield and turning off the ray shield. Although a few more of the bounty hunters die, they continue on to the final trial. Dooku is impressed by Hardine's actions and thinks that he might be put in charge of the operation, making Evolve furious and wanting revenge on Hardine. The final trial is a sniper challenge where they have to shoot a target, and if they fail, the floor will drop from under them, leading to their deaths. The first bounty hunter fails, and Obi-Wan goes up and continues to hit the targets until he runs out of ammo. Evolve uses this opportunity to try and execute Hardine, but Cad Bane uses the grapple hook he has to rescue Hardine and tells Evolve he wants to kill Hardine. He has to do it like a man, and Dooku, seeing an interesting opportunity in this, uses the situation to knock Hardine into the box and forces the two to fight. Dooku orders Hardine to kill Evolve, but Obi-Wan refuses, just saying he wants to be paid. Dooku is disappointed, but then begins to explain to them that they are going on a plot to kidnap Chancellor Palpatine, and disappointed with Evolve's pettiness, places Cad Bane in charge of the mission. On Coruscant, the Jedi begin to plan out the protection for Palpatine after secretly confirming to Anakin, who figured everything out, that Obi-Wan is still alive and undercover. Meanwhile, the bounty hunters in Dooku have made it to Naboo, where they begin to lay out their plan. As the Chancellor arrives, he comments on just how much security there is, as the Jedi confirm that this is needed to protect him. Anakin then assigns Ahsoka to protect Padme and the rest of the Naboo, just in case there is any complications in the attack, Obi-Wan is sent up to be the sniper as he begins to reveal the details of the plans to Mace Windu, not knowing everything. He does tell him that they have used some technology to disguise themselves as Senate guards, and this will be used to kidnap Palpatine. As he is watching over everything, he'll inform them about any complications that happen. As the festival begins, Obi-Wan uses his sniper to look at everything going on and quickly sees that the Parwin is going to sabotage the shield generator, and Obi-Wan informs them, but is too late as the shield is taken down. The plan begins as Palpatine is taken, and a fake Palpatine, being one of the bounty hunters, is looking like he's being taken away by a fake guard. Anakin goes to rescue the Chancellor, but quickly realizes that it is a trap and begins to fight them off as Cad Bane takes Palpatine away. Arriving at the beta point, Obi-Wan and Bane are both there and wonder where Dooku is. Bane realizes they've been double-crossed, and Obi-Wan uses this to reveal he is Obi-Wan and takes down Bane, taking him into custody. Bane is furious once he learns about this and learns that Dooku set them up. Obi-Wan meets with Anakin and begins to apologize to him for everything, revealing that it was his idea to not keep Anakin informed. And he tells him that this was to be able to sell that he was killed, knowing that Anakin would react very emotionally to this. Anakin is very frustrated with the Jedi, and this pushes him farther away, as Palpatine uses this to push Anakin closer to the dark side. The Republic forces leave, as Anakin is left behind to protect Palpatine. Obi-Wan heads up and looks at the case for his sniper, quickly realizing a comlink was left in there by Dooku and there is still more planned. Going to a dinner, Anakin and Palpatine are ambushed by Dooku and a group of Magna Guards. Anakin and eventually Obi-Wan begin to fight off Dooku and the guards. As they push forward, Dooku is nearly able to take Palpatine, but Anakin and Obi-Wan manage to rescue him and see Dooku flee. Anakin is congratulated by the Chancellor as Anakin tells him as long as he lives that nothing will happen to Palpatine, and Palpatine wishes for Anakin's long life so he can be protected. And yeah, honestly, this arc really is amazing. It's really interesting to see Obi-Wan in this different situation where he's forced to pretend to be a criminal. It's also interesting how much Palpatine used from this to slowly push Anakin towards becoming Vader. And it's also interesting just to look at really everything. The arc gets continually better, and well, the first two episodes are solid enough. I think it really picks up with the box and has honestly one of my favorite Clone Wars moments where Cad Bane kills a guy just to get his hat. And you also have the fun quote by Ahsoka saying that Cad Bane's the only person who would wear a hat like that. And it really is just a fun little moment. But the story with this is really well done as you have the tension of Obi-Wan potentially being exposed and putting in more and more dangerous situations. as he just has to kind of bluff and not really compromise any of his moral values as he's trying to fit in with pretty terrible people. And everything with the plan to kidnap Palpatine was probably to try and push Anakin to do what he did in Revenge of the Sith, where he would take out Dooku and Palpatine would push him further towards the dark side. And although it didn't fully work out in this put a definite distrust for Anakin in the Jedi Council and helped push him and Obi-Wan apart so he could eventually turn on his master. And honestly, this is just really a great arc and one of my favorites of it. It's so intense to see Obi-Wan in this situation, and it's definitely just such a unique part of the story. I really do enjoy watching this every time I rewatch Clone Wars, and it really is just such a great time. I will go into my ranking in just a minute, but I do want to say thank you for being patient, waiting for the series to return, and I'll try and be doing it again every week, unless I am really busy. But I'm close towards the end. I'm finishing up essentially season 4 right now, and there is seasons 5, 6, and 7, and a few other stories I want to include that are from lost episodes that were released in other forums. But still, I really did enjoy doing this, and I do want to know what you think of it. But let's first go into the ranking before I continue on. And I give this episode a ranking of 98.3, and that puts it into third place for now. And it eventually will be taken out of third place, but for now, I think that's a good spot for it. And it definitely deserves that spot. It was a little hard choice between that and the Mandalore arc, but I think this one is just slightly better than Mandalore and everything that went with that arc. So I put it just above it, but it could easily have gone the other way. But I think that it definitely does deserve that spot, and after a lot of thinking, I definitely know that it belongs there. But yeah, honestly, this is just such a great arc, and I want to know what you think. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.